the only one.
Hello, my name's John Bobrow. I'm founder of Move38, and I'm here with Dan, our lead game designer. Today I thought we'd do something pretty off the cuff, which is we're getting ready to ship our very first game system called Blinks. And I just want to give you a chance to see the unboxing process and also see Dan and I actually play through all 12 of the games, the first 6 in the core set and the 6 from the expansion. So it's going to be just a long video. You can join us for the whole time, or you can click through to the time codes. We'll list them below in the description. And it's a really good way to find out exactly how to play Blinks games and see what kind of games you might be interested in. Yeah? Yeah? All right. Oh, we also have the second camera. Maybe we'll cut in some footage from above.
Yeah, if we need to make like clear moves that are not as obvious from there, we'll try it from here.
Cool. So to get started, might as well walk you through what Blinks are and what they come with. So Blinks is a smart tabletop game system. It comes in package like this. It's got a nice solid feel, if I might say so myself. Inside of the box, you've got an instruction manual. We'll get to that in a second. The very first piece of content you'll want to find is the quick start guide. And then inside we have these 6 magnetic hexagons that are our smart game pieces. And so when you first pull these out of the box, pressing the button on the top lights them all up. You'll notice they're all kind of doing something a little different. And so, let's see. So the very first thing we learn in our quick start guide is how to take, well, I guess I should point out, each one of these blinks.
No, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we need to take one of them and we need to load its game onto the other blinks.
And so for now, and just so that we can do this in some kind of order, because if you just got yours and you're watching this video, we're going to start from the first game in the rulebook. So we are going to find the game piece for Mortals, and then we'll go through this process.
Cool. So I single out Mortals. I hold it down until it goes crazy blue. That's approximately 3 seconds. When I release it, the piece will search around for neighboring pieces, and then when I introduce it, it finds, kind of creates sort of like this snake-like blue pattern. And that pulsing blue means I'm in the middle of teaching my neighbor how to play this game.
So we'll see this finish. It's gonna pulse blue like you said, and then at some point each piece will start to show green like this. When they're all green, they'll come about and they will all be playing the same game, in this case Mortals. So let's set up Mortals.
So in Mortals, we're going to turn to the instructions.
Yep.
So there's 2 teams. It's a post-apocalyptic battle. Each of us have 3 pieces to start. So,
My 3.
and it instructs us to hold them down in a long press.
So I could change this to green, or I could change it back to purple. I'm going to be purple.
Cool. So Dan's the purple team, I'm the green team. And the game starts out in an arrangement like this. Each of us have 3 pieces. They each have 60 seconds to live at the start of the game. The only way for them to live longer is for them to steal life.
So why don't you start a game and steal life from me?
Cool. So I double click to start. Now every single piece has 6 lights lit up, showing that it's got 60 seconds to live.
Then try to take.
I'm going to steal 10 seconds, 5 from each of Dan's piece.
Then I might take this one and move it over here and do the same with those 2 pieces. And as you see, they're ticking down. So some of these pieces this has about 50 seconds to live. That's got about 40 seconds to live. And this will tick down throughout the game. You can take your turn, I guess.
So I'm going to move here. I'm going to steal from 2 of yours and 1 of mine, so I just got 15 seconds.
I'll do the same.
Oh, interesting. Okay. think I'm gonna load up this guy.
I can move this one.
So now one of Dan's pieces
Okay.
has
that's
died.
also dead. Oh.
And I'm the green team?
Yeah.
Alright, I feel pretty good about this.
I can't do anything. Alright.
So
There's still some green on the board.
So once one of our pieces dies, it becomes a zombie, and it accelerates the death of those around it. So a pretty fast game becomes a really fast game.
Yeah, and we were kind of like spending some of that time doing instructions, so let's see if we can just do one at full speed.
We'll play one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'd be great.
All right. Do you want to start? Double tap to start.
All right, I'll start, and I'll also start.
Yeah.
Okay. It's your turn.
It is.
Yeah.
But I can take my sweet time. Oh, interesting. Oh, really?
I did the math on that wrong.
Yep.
Oh, you won by a little bit.
By a little bit.
By a little bit.
So,
Good.
well played, well played.
So now they're all dead. They're all zombies. And as you saw us do before, just double tapped, reset everything back to the beginning, took it apart. I took my 3, took his 3, put them back together. By the way, if you're playing and you, I don't know, change your mind or something goes wrong, you can double tap while playing and go back to the setup mode. But all of this is in the instructions as well.
And we took moves, for example, double tap is kind of difficult to do by accident.
Yeah.
So we felt pretty confident that, okay, you can play this game and not accidentally double tap.
Yeah, I mean, during play, you're not really touching the top that much. You're mostly touching the sides. You also saw us in the beginning, moving single pieces and attaching them. But then later, when there was lots of zombies, you saw us breaking it apart into like segments. And you might have noticed that during that, no life is exchanged. Only blinks that are alone are able to attack when they attach. If I break this apart and put it back together, no time is exchanged.
We kind of consider that like a mortal going rogue.
This is getting primed for attack and doing it. This is just kind of everyone reassembling in a different order.
So, yeah, that's Mortals. I would say the average game is, I don't know, 2 minutes, a minute and a half?
2 minutes if you like really concentrate on keeping one of them very healthy, but like a minute and 45 seconds, minute and a half if you're like just really spreading out the carnage.
So,
take those down.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's go on to our next game.
Yeah, the next game in the book is Berry.
All right. So Berry's, I'm biased here. I love all the games, but Berry's one of my favorite games. It's especially, it's a competitive game. It's strategic, and I think it might take a little bit more learning than some of our games.
Yeah. Well, also it's the kind of thing that as you get better at it, you start to think about it differently. It's like chess. Like you can be taught the rules of chess and move all the pieces, but you won't be thinking about it strategically until you've played a little bit.
I love that moment when I'm playing Berry and I can see like the best move on the board, and somebody's like, I really have no clue, and it's just like, you will on your next game.
So I installed Berry. You might have shown it. How does this start?
So
I haven't played Berry as much as John has.
Yeah, so the first thing to know about Berry is that, like the name Berry, the letters B-R-Y in that order, blue, red, yellow, is the way the pieces advance. So pieces, when you tap them, they go from, or click them, you go from blue to red to yellow. And if you ever think you're gonna forget that, the blinks hint the next color that is coming up, but it's always that order, blue, red, yellow. The goal of the game is for every single piece to, there's two goals for the game. The first goal is to see if you can score 10 points first. However, the secondary goal, and this is the kicker, is if you turn the whole board, all 6 blinks, to one color, like here, that's an instant win.
Doesn't matter how many points you had before you did it. You could have 0 points, your opponent could have 9. If you do this, you win.
The first time I played this game, I was playing and I was down, I was up. I was feeling really good. I was like up 6-3. And I made a move to score and go up 9-3. And I was like, I am rocking this right now.
Yeah.
And then my opponent said, don't be so greedy, and slid her piece over and instantly turned the whole board to one color.
Mm-hmm.
So this game, the unwritten rule of this game is don't be greedy.
Yeah.
And you'll see how game plays out. So
we all start with 3 of the blinks.
So we each start with 3 in our hand.
You go first.
And the very start of the game is exactly the same every time. I place a piece.
And now I place one of my pieces. When I attach, if I attach to 2 or fewer, 1 or 2 blinks, I tap the blink I attach to.
Cool. So I'm going to attach here for demonstration. I'm going to tap these 2.
And then I'm going to attach here and tap this 1.
Okay. So if I place into what I like to call a pocket 3 blinks, I have to do tap, 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 and I tap the blink that I attached to.
Now, John has also just scored a point.
That worked out nicely.
Yeah. So there is a guide in the book for how to score points. When you complete your turn, you place and do all the tapping you're supposed to do. If there are certain shapes of a single color present on the board, you score points. So this shape, which is just 3 blinks and a triangle, is worth 1 point. John now has 1 point, I have 0 points. We may see the other shapes emerge as we keep playing.
So I think it's your turn to place a piece.
I'm going to go... tap.
Interesting. Okay.
And now that we've placed everything, this turn starts now with removing a blink, and there are rules for which blinks can be removed. So in this in this arrangement, these corner ones can be removed, but these middle ones cannot. They're locked.
And to help you see which pieces are locked, you can probably see it on the overhead camera, is that the middle pieces, they're pulsing up and down to say, I'm in a position that I can't be moved. I'm locked.
Right, and if you're not seeing that, or if you just want to know the generic rules, it's because they have pieces on opposing sides. They're trapped. There's a diagram that we can, it's in the book as well, that'll explain that.
Cool. So my turn. I'm gonna go for I see a couple single point options. I'm trying to get a 2. Okay, well, let me start with, here's a 2. So I'm gonna go there. Took me a moment to see that. So that's 2 points.
That's the diamond shape. It's worth 2 points. So you have now 3.
The scoring's really quite intuitive as well. So 1 triangle is worth 1 point, 2 triangles is worth 2 points, and 3 triangles is worth 3 points. Of course, if you have more than that, you turn the whole board 1 color. That made my heart stop.
No. But I do get 1 point.
Cool.
There is a triangle.
Ooh. Okay. So I'm gonna end the game here. Thanks, Dan. So I'm gonna move this piece out. I didn't see it for a moment, and turn the whole board to 1 color. So that's Barry.
Yep.
I would say average game. What?
Depends on. That game could have been much longer if I wasn't just sort of making moves, you know.
You set me up for that.
Yeah, the games it is not uncommon to win by points. It does happen.
I would say in a pretty competitive game, that's more common.
Yeah. But you just want to keep an eye out for the opportunity to do this.
Yeah.
But games are,
5
Yeah.
minutes,
Yeah.
5 to 10.
Yeah.
I think a good strategic game, I've stopped in the middle of the game to like note down like, oh, we have to keep this board.
Mhm.
We got to know what the best
Mhm.
move at this moment is. It's very, you said it in the beginning, it's very chess-like. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh, I want to try and play from that point over and over again.
Yeah, and when you like play it a couple times in a row, especially against the same person, you start to like feel out what they usually do, how they usually, especially because there's a limited number of like openings, like for the first like say 3-4 moves, and it's like, do you want to go for the 1 point? Do you want to not? Like, is there ways you can set it up?
I don't know what the best opening is yet. I do know what the worst opening is though.
Is there a way to open in such a way that the person wins immediately?
It's actually the reason for that rule for the pocket of tapping yourself.
Oh,
So there was kind of it was a good game balancing mechanic.
Mhm.
So, well, that's Barry.
Yep. Next in the book is Bomb Brigade.
Your old favorite.
Yeah. I like it played strangely. We're gonna not show it the way I like it. So again, installation process as before. Hold down, spinning blue, attach. We'll let this go.
And we're gonna play through all the games right now, but I guess one of the things I realized is like, I don't know, first night you get out your blinks, like dig into a couple games.
Yeah.
I think that kind of letting a game set in, I've found at least when I bring them out at like a party, we'll probably play 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
Any
Rarely
more
am I
than
installing every game. I'll show someone. I'll bring 12 blinks. I'm not going to show someone 12 games.
It kind of feels like you're rushing through a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
and like.
And
it's
there
like,
might be a game
I
that
just
you would
wanna
really
learn
like.
it.
Might be a game you would really like if you played it a few times and got in the headspace of it. Whereas if we just was like, play 2 rounds, if we played at this pace with like new people, it'd be kind of a lot.
a little jarring.
I don't know how you want to arrange this for the.
For Bomb Brigade. So, Bomb Brigade, you clump them all the pieces around 1. So, there are many ways to start this game, but I think this is the simplest.
Yeah. I'll show the way I like when we're done with this.
Cool. I think it's interesting. I like, yeah. So, in Bomb Brigade, we're playing, it's like a hybrid between hot potato and Russian roulette. The game designers for this game, they designed it as a drinking game, but it does not need to be played with drinks. I myself don't actually go out to drink so much. Doesn't help me with making blinks.
Yeah.
So to get started, arrange it like so, and you double click the centerpiece. It's kind of like double clicking a mouse, and it starts up a bomb. And the outer pieces you see transition to green. Those now are shields.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So every turn, someone has to click the bomb. I'm gonna spark the bomb there.
And this is the first time we're actually seeing like directionality. So the center bomb, it's pointing a direction. You can think of it like a spinner. I only want to stop the spinner when it's facing the shields, when it's pointing at the green ones. So this is pretty easy. Gets faster and faster.
That's very fast. Oh, wow, you actually almost didn't get it.
Almost didn't get it. So, in this case, the bomb went off.
Mhm.
It lights up green to show that I'm safe. And then it weakens the shield.
Yeah.
And so, you can play this game where you weaken the shield and you take away the shield after it's been weakened. But there's also multiple levels of weakness.
Yep.
It goes from yellow to orange to red to sparkling rainbow.
Yeah, you can. We can
I'll
keep
advance
reattaching it. So that's when it's fully exploded. It'll look like that. But you can sort of play to any level you want.
Yeah, and so that's just for if you want to speed up or slow down the game. So in this case, the bomb went off, it went into a shield, which means I'm safe.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm safe. We double tap the bomb again.
Restarts the spinning and it's back to being slow again.
Dance
I'll
turn. If I blew this shield off, I'd,
Yeah.
little token of my
failure. No, I guess that's success. All right. Weakened that one. I'm just gonna take it off. Take that.
I was like, maybe now we can play all the way down. Ooh.
Okay, so yeah.
Go for it.
It sparked off to the side. It wasn't facing a shield, but it didn't explode. Like in like a hot potato kind of thing. It's not the moment you touch it, you're dead. It's just that it has some chance like that didn't go off. But every time you click it, the chances increase and increase and increase.
Yeah, so there's a roughly 1 in 10 chance in the beginning, but then the chances
get higher. Yeah.
So
it's gonna explode soon. We just gotta hope it's on a shield. Well, John's gotta hope.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Ooh. My timing. Nice.
Nice. Just take it off.
That's terrifying.
Alright, so now we're in a tough position. There's only 2 shields left on this. Oh, okay.
Nice.
Alright, there's 1 shield. Best of luck.
1 in 10 chance bomb goes off, and it goes off on the slowest, easiest.
Alright, now it's really just a reflex game.
Okay, so I have the easiest job right now of the... Oh!
So we're in a rarefied situation.
So we've blown off all the shields, and neither of us had blown up.
Yeah.
So
now we just play Don't Wake Daddy.
Yeah.
No, I always reference that board game when I'm talking about this, and I feel like people don't remember it.
I remember the commercials.
Yeah. At this point, this is just
This
Russian
is
roulette.
just
We have no
Russian
power.
Okay, so Dan wins. I
Sort
blew
of.
up. You can see what the blow up looks like, but also if the blow up occurs when there are shields surrounding, it points with this white light in the direction that you missed. That's where the bomb went off, and then the shields show that explosion.
And just like when it blows up into a shield, you can also restart that by double clicking. So yeah, we just played an incredibly fast version of the game because we removed shields the moment they were injured. You can play a slower game by removing them when they turn. Let's see if I can get it to do it. I'm just gonna cheat that. By removing them when they turn orange, when they turn red, when they turn like this. It just depends on how fast a game you want.
Yeah, my favorite way to play, honestly, is with a bunch of friends. Like, it's listed as 1 to 10 players. I recommend playing this game with a lot of people who are ready to hit quick, because people are going to get out and then they've got nothing to do except cheer on somebody else. And so at the end of the game, when like 4 out of 10 starting players are in, and they're like, that's the most fun for me.
I like to do this, break it in half, and then make 2 bombs.
Oh.
And then I recombine them like this.
Oh, that's cool.
And now every turn you hit 1 of them. And
so I get to choose.
You get to choose.
So in the beginning, it's the same.
Right, and so I might be like, I'm just going to get this one really fast. Like, it's still pretty slow.
Although I don't know if that'd be to your benefit in a 2-player game.
No, not
now
necessarily
I'm
a 2-player
gonna...
game. That's fine. Ooh. Also, there's a certain element of show-offiness. You want to do the riskier thing.
That's also true. I'm just living it up over here.
They're both fast.
Okay, cool. So
yeah.
So that's Bomb Brigade.
And you can be creative and do multiple bombs and strange shield arrangements and make odd rules for when you take a shield off and when you don't. You can do all sorts of interesting things. It's a very open system.
How many pieces does this game work with?
Theoretically 2.
Wait, how many? Oh, but up to how many?
Up to infinite. It's an infinite blinks game.
Yeah.
You can play this with thousands of blinks if you have.
Yeah. Inversely, Barry, for example, it's a weighted game. It's designed for 6 blinks.
Mortals is also designed for 6, but...
Plays well with 12.
Yeah, you could do 12.
12 feels like the zombie apocalypse,
yeah.
yeah. But they're both, and Yeah. I've never actually tried Barry with 12, but my gut sense is there's probably a game there. It's just not yet balanced.
Maybe 3 players. I mean, it's worth exploring. I think it's that's what's fun about the modular system is that, you know, we've made the rules that we think you should play by, but as anyone who's played, you know, a board game a lot of times, you start making house rules, and then you find that you can't play it without them. So, we are moving on to WHAM next.
So, WHAM is kind of a game I open with.
Yeah.
It's the one, like, if I'm out at dinner and I want to show my friend's parents, like, look at what I've made, I'd say, okay, like, this is a game system, and everybody knows Whack-A-Mole, so it's real easy to play. However, I think this game is, on the surface, one of the simplest, and under the hood, one of the most fascinating.
Yeah, one of the most difficult to make, like, to program, but the result is very, like...
I think that's partially true, but I was going to say, even from a gameplay standpoint, never before has there been, like, a Whack-A-Mole where you can vary the hardness of the Whack-A-Mole by rearranging the board.
Right, and we're playing with 6 right now, which I find very difficult.
You find 6 difficult?
I find 6, well, it depends on the array. Oh, sorry. I rarely win on 6. Like,
really?
All the way to 30 on 6, I don't really win that much. 12 obviously is impossible, but like when I'm like just trying to burn through it, I do it with like 4.
Okay. So that's a good thing to know. So in Whack-A-Mole or in WHAM, there's 30 levels. If you get past all 30 levels, the board celebrates.
Yeah.
You won.
It's funny, when I first programmed it, it took me a while to see it.
That's
I had to cheat. I just never saw it.
I remember like being like, hey Dan, just, you know, change the number of levels to 2. You're like, no, but I need to see if it actually works.
I need to see if it actually works. So I stood over there and played it for a while. So this is what do we call this?
This is the attract mode.
Yeah.
It's so in WHAM, red moles pop up. These greedy moles are after your green lawn, and you gotta whack them before they eat that plot of land.
Yeah. So we installed it. We set them up in, I'll say this formation. You can set up any formation you want.
To start the game, double click, and now real moles pop up. They are
full blinks.
I should my turn?
I mean, there's no,
We can take turns.
Yeah, we'll take turns.
So in 2-player, you can like take turns.
But what's happening is, I don't know if it's perceivable on the cameras, but there's a little rumbling in the lawn you can see right before the moles pop up. And then some number of moles pop up, and I'll let one of these go down a little bit. So you can see it's counting down, and I gotta stop it.
Right before the timer. That time, they get quicker.
I'm nervous.
You should just go for it. I just want to watch you play. That's, yeah.
Also, the challenge is like, I'm playing with 2 fingers because it's easier. You don't have to.
You can play with 1 finger, you can play with 1 hand, you can play 2 hands. I think that the more clumped together, in my opinion, the easier the game is. So the longer and spread out they are. Wow.
Sorry, I almost didn't make it on that one. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is one of the toughest ways to play with 6.
Yeah.
Maybe an S curve could be tough. And you can even rearrange them mid-game like Dan's doing. They're each keeping track of which level. If you split them off into 2 separate games, you can see at this point it's really getting quite fast.
And also, if you make a misstep, this is important. If I click one that is green, you get that flash, that's a strike. I can only have 3 strikes. I've just shown you 2. I now cannot mess up. I can't press the wrong blink.
I think you can win this. I'm rooting for you.
Well, I'm also kind of like, I'm doing it on easiest mode possible, which is putting my whole hand on the board and pressing them all simultaneously. If I was trying to do this one at a time, it's
much more difficult.
Tougher.
I feel a win coming.
Yeah, get there. But I also have set myself up where if I accidentally hit the wrong one, I will immediately lose.
That's also
Hey,
all right.
Little fireworks.
So that's WHAM.
Yeah.
You know, a 3-year-old can play it, but also I found that bartenders love it.
It's another game that scales really well.
You
comes in the core set, works great like this. Lots of like interesting arrangements you can make with it. Play it with 12, play it with 18. Now remember, it will get
a lot harder.
But if you have 12, maybe I'm covering these 6 and you're covering those 6. You know, maybe we sort of play zone defense.
I think that's the. So I think at one of these game events that we're gonna bring them to, I think having people bring their blinks and playing the largest game.
I'm gonna reset this just so I can show you.
WHAM.
So I can show you losing.
Oh yeah, losing is important to know what it looks like.
So first round, 1, 2. Oh, I missed it.
And so the one you missed, it goes between white and red. The other ones go red and dark.
You can get the same result if you strike 3 times.
And it'll show you which one you missed.
Yeah.
If you missed a bunch of them,
I'll show you a bunch of them.
I'll show you a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's it for WHAM.
Yeah, oh, and it was double click to do everything. It was double click to start the game, double click to come back from reset. Like, double click was
and
the,
a single hit to bop them on their head.
Yeah.
Almost all of our games so far, I think double click is kind of, it starts the game. In
Yeah.
Mortals, it starts the game, and
then in things like Berry and in this, single click is the sort of the basic action. Whack-a-mole or, you know, change color of a berry.
So yeah, we just talked about the different types of clicks. There's a guide to it in the beginning of the instructions.
First page. Yeah.
And the next game we're going to play actually, coincidentally, doesn't really require clicks.
No, it's pretty much just an arrangement game. Let's see if we can find Puzzle 101. So we find Puzzle 101, we're going to install it.
So Dan hasn't said so yet, but Dan and a co-designer made this game, but Dan really took this.
Yeah, we made a game where you challenge your friends by making puzzles for them, and then I went home and banged my head against a wall until I figured out how to make the blink your friend that makes puzzles for you.
I like the way I recall it is you came up to me and you're like, okay, like this is a fun game, but I'm pretty sure the blinks can make new puzzles for you indefinitely.
Yeah.
And I was like, that sounds cool.
It took me like a solid week to work it out. I was also much worse at Arduino then.
That's okay. Dan came back like a week later with like a notebook full of grids and had figured out how to have blinks procedurally generate new puzzles for 6 blinks till the end of time.
Yeah, and so we're gonna make one of those now. Now, as it'll tell you in the rulebook, in setup mode, they look like this. They glow white when they touch each other. You are looking to put them in a particular arrangement, which is this.
I like to call that the brain.
Sure, yeah, the brain. And you'll tell because there'll be these little disco light celebrations in the middle. And as typical, if you double click, it will start. You'll see it distribute this big puzzle, or you'll see it do something. It won't be clear immediately, so it's just disco lights. And now, these pieces represent a puzzle. I can already tell you what this looks like.
Okay, I should try and solve it. So I'm actually going to start out. I don't know if I should share my strategy.
No, just solve this one and then we'll...
You know, I feel like it's fun to figure out what the... I should make some mistakes along the way, but I've played a lot of this. Okay. That's... Okay. So I know these aren't right because they're not pulsing up and down yet. And that's because yellow is touching red. That needs to be yellow to yellow. So that's correct, but now I've got this red one out here. And the instructions show me that I also can't have dark touching anything. So this piece feels wrong. Let's see. Okay.
There you go.
So I know I solved it because all the pieces pulse in sync, and not a single light is left on. Had
So if
I
you want to make a new puzzle,
had I had it incorrect,
yeah, or if you were to say
swap those
do
two.
this and that, see those mismatches.
Right.
So
Oh, and so when I complete the puzzle, now I want a new puzzle. So I double tap any one of the pieces,
you're back in setup.
put it back into a brain, and I get a new puzzle.
And now let's go through. Actually, this is going to sound annoying, but I'm just going to restart this because I'm looking for a particular. Yes. Okay. I'm looking for a particular type of puzzle. So the rules, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. They're in the rule book, but we're making this video just to get them out loud. The rules are that light colors need to touch each other. So you will see on this whole field, there's only 2 blue lights, one on this and one on this. So that's an obvious first step. I'm going to place these together, and you'll see those blue lights are now pulsing. And now I look at this moment. I say, okay, I need a pink light, or red, depending on how you want to talk about it, and a yellow light. So, okay, well, this fits the bill. This does that. So it's made those happy. But now I have a light on this side. But I know that there's no light here, which means there can't be a blink here, right? So even if I could make this work, look, that works. Suddenly this light's never gonna go because this isn't right. Like, this is not how it's supposed to be. So I'm gonna try, in fact, this one I had in my hand, that. This still satisfies this, but it leaves room for something here. And then you just sort of use this logic to carry through, and I'm just gonna go a little quicker on this. Put that one there, put that one there, put that one there.
Nice. And so I think of this as kind of like a Rubik's Cube of blinks. It's like you mix it up, you have to figure it out, and I think once you start to see the patterns of like this kind of puzzle, like Dan was just like, I want to see this kind of puzzle.
What I was looking for just now was a puzzle that only had a single connection of one of the colors so that I could use it as a starting point. Oftentimes, most of the time, you'll have a couple of blue connections, some yellow connections, some red connections.
This game is so addicting, I swear. I just like, once it comes out, I just want to, okay. And I put this in front of a speed cuber the other night, and she was like,
yeah,
put
she
it,
did this.
She did that. I think she said ready.
Like you were timing her.
Yeah, it was awesome. I totally did time her.
Oh, this is interesting. Oh, this is a weird chain. This one's odd. Sometimes they make odd shapes. I find that to be an odd one.
That's a cool shape. Cool. So that's Puzzle 101.
Yeah, it is ostensibly a single player game, but I mean, John and I are sitting here doing it together, especially for like kids. You know, they can do it together because sometimes the puzzle solving can be a little difficult.
Yeah, and I think if you're an adult and you're playing, you want to play with a kid. I number one say play for yourself first because you'll understand like what's tricky about it. They're pretty tough. Your first puzzles, I think, are really tough. It also then allows you to find what you might think is an easier puzzle for a kid. For example, Dan looked for one that had only one
Which
color.
funny because that was actually a very tough puzzle.
That's a good point.
But it just had that one moment.
Yeah. So
in some ways, this is an easier puzzle.
Right. And for different people, different things are easy. So I personally find 2-color puzzles to be the most difficult of puzzles.
Yeah.
So if you see a 2-color puzzle as your start, maybe start on a 3-color one. I think it's a little bit more.
Because you can always, also, we didn't mention this, you don't have to solve it to reset it. You can just give up if you want.
Oh, that would have been evil. We could have done that. We could have like forcibly.
That would have been very mean. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, so puzzle is one of the games like, actually this is the most enforced in terms of number of blinks. This will only work
with 6
in this arrangement, which is a 6-blink arrangement. I think this is the only game that programmatically enforces that. But, you know, spoilers, I do have in my mind how you might make this for larger numbers of blinks. It's just in my mind right now. So this version of it is 6 blinks.
Puzzle 201, maybe.
202 probably.
202.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. All right, so what are we loading up next?
So Fracture is the last game in this rule book, and that gives us the opportunity to bust out these guys.
Cool. So Fracture, it comes in the 6-pack, it comes in the core set. It's the first game we made for Blinks, and I think it's still the crowd favorite. It's a slower paced game. It shares a lot in common with just longer form board games, and it's very simple to learn, but tricky to master. And so it's only played with 12 or more tiles, so 12 or more blinks. That's going to be a weird pattern, but it'll get it.
You chose a dicey start point, but it's getting there.
So in Fracture, and I should say why we included it in the core set. So you can put your set of blinks together with another core set of blinks and play 12 blink games. And it's just such a strong game that I felt like everyone should have it. And it gives you a good excuse to get together with somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to start Fracture, bring the rule book out. We're gonna each choose a color. I'd like to be orange, if I could.
Sounds good. And I'm double tapping the pieces to change which team they're on, which color they are.
So it'll be green?
Yeah, and I think I actually know of a color palette that works for color blindness.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna switch one over. This, I believe, works for our colorblind viewers.
Cool.
So note that because blinks are red, green, blue, light, yeah, we chose some palettes that would say a majority of our games are colorblind friendly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in Fracture, well, actually, I'll let John explain this, and then I'll explain why we're set up exactly the way we are.
Cool. So the instructions tell us that the goal of Fracture is to make our blinks happy first. And happy in quotes. What happy means is our blinks don't like being around their own color. They only like being around others. So my blue-green piece only wants to be around either orange or orange and yellow, but not touching any blue.
So it's sparkling now, which is how it tells you it's happy.
And so I made one blue piece happy.
Now, this is happy because it's touching 2, and because none of them are its own color, which means that blink isn't happy.
And I say that blink, if you leave it there, that blink is lonely.
Yeah.
Okay, it's only got one attached.
And this blink has enough neighbors, but one of them's blue.
So it's not happy also.
Yeah.
So maybe on the next move I could move this out of there and make both of them happy. So the goal of the game is to get all of your color sparkling at the end of your turn, all of them happy. And in 2-player mode, so this was originated as a 3-player game, it can be played with up to 6. It's turn-based, but in 2-player mode we're going to have a shared territory.
So I have to make all 5 of these happy and both of these to win. John, to win, has to make all 5 of these happy and both of these. So we're kind of, this keeps it from being sort of a boring game. Doing 6 on 6 we turned out was strategically not viable, but 5-2-5 is great and just as challenging as like the 3-player, 4-player version.
And I think for a strategic game, like having a 2-player mode is really good because you can kind of actually rate yourself, like I'm better than this person, rather than in a 3-player game, you just can't say that.
Yeah.
It's usually one of the people was weaker than, who knows?
And turn order starts to matter.
That's also true. Who went first?
So do you want to go take your first turn?
If you'll give it to me, sure.
Sure.
I feel like I should make my best moves.
So John just performed a fracture, which is where he broke the board into 2 pieces. They don't have to be the same size, and then put it back together in any orientation. There are rules about what a legal fracture is and isn't.
mostly if you can slide it apart
Yeah.
into two
So like
Two clusters.
I couldn't be like, oh, I just want that. Like that can't be taken out, just that little one. But I could if I was feeling crazy. Like, oh, I have to do that a little smoother.
Yeah, you can press on the tops of the blinks to
like,
pull them apart.
This is how we were. If I could kind of.
Press on the tops of the. There you go. Cool.
That's a legal fracture. Not a very good move strategically, but an interesting thing to do.
I should also note we may have a little bit of trouble fracturing on this set. The shipping blinks a little bit easier to fracture.
Yeah, that's right.
So, let's see. You're orange.
I'm orange.
You've got our shared territory happy. Oh, well. Oh, I was feeling really hopeful, but I don't have an option here.
There you go.
I don't like this. Okay. Go ahead and. That feels evil right away. Need some karma.
No, do it.
Let's start there. Smart. Okay, so Dan's got one happy, our shared territory. I've got a lonely guy out here. Okay. I'm gonna try and make this guy over here happy. Cool. This looks like a scary situation, but I know that Dan can't win from there. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and leave you hanging out. Think like this.
Okay.
So I'm feeling
I
pretty.
have reason to believe that I can win, but I also feel like maybe I can't, because this break gets all of my dudes independent, but that guy needs a neighbor, and this guy needs a neighbor, which I can provide.
Nice win.
There.
Cool.
Yeah.
So all 5 of Dan's pieces are happy,
And both the yellow
and
ones.
both the yellow ones are happy too.
Yep.
Good win.
Yeah, I wasn't sure it would get there.
Did you notice that I set myself, my next move was also.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah. And I thought, I was like, oh, maybe I've got an area where you can't win it from here. Just barely.
Yeah. So that's 2-player fracture. We've played. I found playing with like, what were we doing at PAX Unplugged? How many was that? I was.
At PAX Unplugged,
Yeah.
probably 3-player.
Yeah. I found like 3 and 4-player. It feels totally different. I really like 3 and 4-player, especially because sometimes you watch a person not win. You'll watch a person's turn go by and be like, there was a win. There was a win in there.
I can't say anything.
I don't want to say anything because I want it to be my turn and I want to win. But like, it's very hard not to be like, stop doing that. Just, you can win right now.
Yeah. I think my first time with people, sometimes I'll say, there is a win on the board.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll let them, I feel like the guy who's like, puts a single bullet in the gun, spins the chamber, tosses it in the air, and like leaves for like 2 people to like, there's gold in that chest.
Yeah.
Here's.
Yeah. Very the Joker.
Let's see. When you're done with Fracture, to reset the game, there's not a smart reset. You just move the pieces back into place.
I think the other thing is that like this is a recommended 2-player variant. It's not the 2-player variant. If you want to do, for instance,
I would say it's the 2-player variant, but I think there are other.
I've played this.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
This isn't bad.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't played that yet.
Yeah, Marty and I did this once. You can mess around, and again, like, you may have more than 12 blinks. Either you own them, or you're at your friend's house and you have 24 blinks. Experiment. We have recommended starting arrangements in the book, but they're recommended. They are not. They're not rules. And I think that we found some. I mean, these starting arrangements for 2 players were experimental. It was like, well, we know we need to do 2 players. Let's try some starting starting gates.
Yeah, and I think the current starting, they're a good one that you know other people are starting with. It's like, okay, like I know how to play this game, you know how to play this game, let's start the way I've started previous games, because then you're kind of on equal footing. It's not like, well, at my house we play this way. You can break that out.
Right. Yeah, but it's worth experimenting. You know, play with your friends a few times and be like, hey, you want to try this? And then try one and see if it's harder or easier. Or, you know, so that's
you're getting the full game designer perspective, which is invent your own.
This
rules.
is a great color palette. This looks amazing.
It's really nice, right?
Yeah.
This is the colorblind color palette. I'm pretty sure it's.
Really nice.
There's no red in this piece, and the red and green on these, I think, is varied enough.
Okay? So we have now graduated from the end of the first rule book.
Oh yeah.
To the beginning of the second rule.
So if you bought the core set of Blinks, that's all your games, but you're probably going to want to continue watching because these are the next games that you can pick up in the expansion set if you haven't already. So what's the first one in here?
First one in here is Speed Racer, which is cool. I haven't played 12 Blink Speed Racer in a while.
Do you want to start with 6 and then just because there's 12, you have 12 with the core set.
Which one is Speed Racer?
This one's Speed Racer. And so let's train them all up. Sorry.
Yeah, and then you can play separately.
A little thought bubble. Cool. So Speed Racer is a game where it's a dexterity game. It's one that, I don't know, I thought of kind of early on just kind of like playing around with the objects themselves is like this would be a fun mechanic. And the goal of the game is that you have to build road ahead of your car before your car gets there. We built Speed Racer in such a way that your road can have multiple cars if you want, so you could try and play the game with. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's start the game out. So should we each start our own side by side, and we'll. This is.
So I'm gonna start. I'm separating all of mine, and then I'm gonna put them together in one line. I'll explain what happened in a second, and then just to make sure it's a valid road, I'm just gonna quickly double click and shoot. Now I've got a nice road.
Cool. So I put mine in a line, double click.
Nice
got a straight road.
Yep. And now I'm gonna start a car on this end of my road, and this will be a single click.
Okay. I'll do the same.
And as it leaves each piece, I'm gonna pick it up, put it on the end. Pick it up, put it on the end. And I'm just trying to keep up with the car, which is always moving forward. Faster and faster as the game goes on. Hold on. Oh, I'm getting close. Okay, no.
You crashed?
Yeah, I did.
I'm winning on this one.
I miss a lot.
Okay. So what did we just see there? So I guess at the ends of the road we've got a red warning, which is this is the end of the road.
I'll make a short one. I launch a car, scoots along the road, hits that red ending, and crash.
If, go ahead and start another car, you attach one of these hazards. It's basically a construction sign, right? You can build more road by attaching wherever that red dot is. Cool. And now we're playing a 12 blink version. Wow.
Yeah.
So you can also grab chunks of road.
Yeah, I think of it like, you know when you were a kid and you have those wooden train tracks? These are sort of like smart digital wooden train tracks. You can pick them up in chunks, you can pick them up individually, and they'll just reassemble. Oh no.
Oh,
No.
I totally missed it.
Yeah.
All right, so like let's crash 2 cars.
All right, so I'll start a car over here. And he's gonna start a very fast car by rapidly clicking, what was it, like 6 times?
Yeah.
And they crashed into each other. Same can be done if you start a slow car, let it go a couple, no, not yours. Let it go a couple blocks, and now this thing is gonna rear end that thing, because it's going way faster.
Does it keep going?
That one keeps going. This one doesn't.
This has got a very strong back bumper.
Oh yeah. And then it crashes at the end.
Cool.
So a couple important things to know about this. We talked about this before, but this is a game where directionality is very important. So for instance, John here has set up a straight line of blinks, but you see there's this red here because you need specifically the sides to connect where the road ends. So if I take these two,
Well, kind of like Puzzle 101.
Yeah.
Blinks have 6 sides.
Yep.
And so 2 of the sides are yellow. You need yellow to touch yellow.
So this is not a connecting road. If I pick this up and reconnect the red parts, boom, connecting road. And that was what that thing we did at the beginning was. Double click just smooths that all out for you. If you don't want to think about it at first, but you will have to think about it because when you pick up an individual piece and try to connect it to the end of the roadway, it doesn't work if you don't connect it correctly. It just stays spinning and a car will, sent it the wrong way. A car will crash at the end of that road.
I also like that when you shifted the board, you broke the road, which is kind of actually, I never really thought about it, but with 12 blink Speed Racer, that's probably the most difficult.
And I think what's fun is this, you saw us doing it earlier, which is like, normally the game is played like this, by taking individuals. Oh no, okay. But you can also play like this. I can grab this whole segment and connect its loose end to that loose end.
Do you think you could beat me if we grabbed whole segments?
Not with 6.
Okay.
Not with 6.
Yeah, 6 it's maybe not as big of a benefit.
Yeah. I mean, actually, do I want to show people how to cheat at this? There's no cheating because it's not a scoreboard, but here's a fun trick. Take 6, put them in a circle, double click and you'll get this loop. If you start a car on this, you can just take them apart in halves and just sort of like clamshell them into each other, and it'll just flow into itself infinitely. Also, you don't have to do that. You can literally just make the circle and it'll just go forever.
I've actually never seen you do that before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
You can do the same thing with sort of any.
My favorite thing to do is circle them up and like rapid press to really launch a fast car.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you crash that car, even if you start a slow car, it'll get real fast.
Yeah.
So like.
I also like if you take a circle and launch 2 cars opposite each other, and they go the same direction, they'll just circle around each other.
That's pretty satisfying.
Yeah.
These
going pretty quick.
These are. I feel like they look like pineapple slices I ate as a kid.
Yeah. So I mean that's important to note. If you double click while a car is going, it will kill the car. Double click is like a full reset. So if I double click now, no car.
Oh yeah, that's a good. It's kind of like repaving the road.
Yeah, it just like knocks everything out.
So that's Speed Racer.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's the first of the expansion pack. What's our second game in the expansion pack?
Astro.
Cool. Astro.
I have it.
Cool. So with 2 players, I would say that Astro is, I don't know, requires, what do we say, 8?
Yeah, I would say with 2 players you could probably do 6.
6
if you wanted to, yeah.
6 pieces. So Astro, once again, even though it comes with the expansion, you could play it with 6. But the most recent game of Astro I played was with, I think, 6 people at the table.
Ooh, that's sprawling.
And it was chaos. Yeah. It was total chaos.
Well, because how many blinks did you get? 12 blinks, I
We had 12 blinks,
so
6
people,
asteroids,
6 ships.
Yeah, people were just flying all over.
So when you start Astro, everything starts as an asteroid, which you can separate to create the asteroid field, which we're going to create an unnecessarily large one right now. You wouldn't normally use a giant one for a 2-player game, but this is the asteroid field. Now John and I are each going to take 1 blink.
And you can't see it on the main camera feed, but we should just double check that that one looks okay.
Yeah.
Can you see the colors? Cool.
Kind of, yeah.
So, each asteroid has up to 4 colors of ore. There's 4 types of ore, and they will appear and disappear.
Yeah.
They grow and decay.
They always stay kind of populated. But I'm going to take this blink and I'm going to turn it into my spaceship by long pressing until it shines, and And now I've got a spaceship. John, you can do the same.
Cool. So I'm going to take one, make a spaceship.
And actually, for game challenge, I'm going to take all these away. We're going to play with 6.
All right.
So this is our asteroid field. These are our ships. My ship's flashing yellow. Your ship is flashing yellow. We have a mission to collect yellow ore right now. Do you want to just play through this mission?
Sure.
Yeah.
So this is submission, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we both need to fulfill. We need to get 6 yellow ore.
So you count down.
We count down together, I believe,
Sure.
for this game. Ready?
All right.
3, 2, 1,
go.
blast off.
Oh, no. Those.
All right,
you got it.
So, Dan. Oh,
I just wanted to do it. I'll
awesome.
reset.
No, that's okay. That was cool. So, Dan had 5 yellow. I got all 6, and I knew that because the white spinning around.
Right. And once you do that, once you complete a mission, you double click, you get a new mission, which actually asks for 1 fewer ore. So this is now asking me for 5 green, asking him for 5 orange.
And the missions are going to continue like that. So
Yep.
the first mission is 6 ore, 5 ore, 3,
4, 3, 2,
4,
1.
3, 2, 1. And the first person to complete all 6 of those.
So normally we wouldn't have stopped at that point. We would have just, I would have just carried on. Now I'm getting green, he's getting orange.
Let's do it.
We're not actively competing.
I think we're actively competing now. And you got to keep track of, you got to spot when you complete a mission, because it'll spin white like that, and if you don't double tap, you don't go on to your next mission.
Oh no.
Sometimes some of the ore is a little hidden too, especially the mix of colors.
Got it.
You finished?
Yep.
That was fast. Okay, so Dan's clearly better at this than I am.
Well, you were talking.
But I was down to my
close.
last mission.
Yeah.
So
You get
I
one
was
more and
one away.
rainbow celebration.
One way to play this with a lot of blinks is that you keep this as like
A point.
1 point, 1 game 1, and you just grab another asteroid and.
Which with 4 asteroids would be pretty tough. But if I'd put more of these out. Another important thing, if I reset, I have to reset back to an asteroid and then back to a spaceship. If I were to take the orange from these, right, and they're stuck together, asteroids that are attached will not repopulate. So nothing new is ever going to appear on these. If I separate them, suddenly they repopulate.
Right, and similarly, with your spaceship attached to the asteroid,
It's not going to repopulate.
it won't create more ore. So
Asteroids only repopulate when they are truly alone. And so if you're playing in the heat of the game and there's a couple like this, you should just grab them, separate them, because honestly, it's no good for you. It's no good for your opponent. Yeah, and it's gonna happen a lot. It's a chaotic, frenzied game.
yeah,
But it's I think it's really. You played with 6 people recently. I think it's great. 4 people. 8.
4 is probably like the right amount.
8 asteroids. 4 players. You're just crossing hands, and then suddenly someone goes, "I did it!" And it's great.
I think you can decide which rule. I'm trying to think what we say in the rule book, but we like to say that all blinks games, like the blinks have to remain on the table, which means that you need to navigate your arm
You can't
around
just pick up
somebody
and drop.
else's arm.
Although you probably witnessed me doing that during the game.
In the game, it's easier to play by picking up.
Yeah, but just agree before you start.
Cool. I think that's what you need to know about Astro.
Yeah.
You go back and forth between asteroids and your ship by double click.
Long press.
By long pressing.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Double clicking goes to your next mission.
Yeah. Single clicking doesn't do anything in this game.
Nah.
It's too chaotic for us to have something that easy to mess up. Here's an interesting one on this table. The next game is Flic Flop.
Oh, cool.
Let's see
Small
if we
table
can-
Flic Flop.
See if we can find Flic Flop. We're gonna install Flic Flop, and normally we would play Flic Flop on a slightly different surface. I think maybe what we can do is try to cheat this a little. That box up.
Oh yeah? I don't know. So somebody showed me actually a pretty cool version of this, which is if you do it in the round.
Oh, I guess if you have a
So,
big
like-
enough table, but then you're not interfering with other people. I want that like defense blinks, you know. I want to be able to connect. I guess if you push it into them. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what we can do? We can play it like this and then
Oh,
spin it for
spin
your
the
turn.
table.
So
Oh,
you're
that
gonna have to
works.
get a table like this.
That's
It's part. It doesn't come with the blinks. You have to buy this.
the best setup for Flic Flop is it's essentially futuristic shuffleboard, and so the closer you have to a shuffleboard,
Yeah.
the better.
A long, thin surface.
Yeah.
So you take those.
Oh, and it's 2-player.
Yeah, we'll do 2-player on this one. So in Flic Flop, there are 2 types of pieces. There are flickers, which look like this, and there are floppers, to make a flicker into a flopper and vice versa. Long press, let go. Now that's a flopper. You can tell because it's mostly lit, and it is flopping between the 3 colors of the game.
How long is a long press?
It's like a second, and
It's less than 2 seconds,
Yeah.
more than a second.
yeah, second and change. And you'll see it light up, so you know to let go.
Cool.
So I've made 3 floppers. I'm going to connect them together into this big puck, which will now flop sort of as a group.
Oh, cool. So we could play a harder game with a single flopper
Yeah,
and a slightly easier game by grouping some floppers
it
together.
makes it heavier and easier to attach to. So let's do this. Let's play because we got this weird table. Let's do
Alright.
this. So I will take this out of the game. 4 and 4. So the aim is for me to flick this at that and get it to attach. So I'm going to play yellow.
Okay.
So
I'll play pink.
sure. So I wait until it's yellow.
Okay. So Dan missed, but he doesn't get to take back his piece. It stays out there on the board, and my hope here is to steal it. Ooh.
Yeah, not yet.
Here we go. Pink. Oh, really? Okay.
I'm gonna do.
So if either of those pieces attaches now, at the time it attaches,
I
it
just got the one
scores. So Dan scored 1 yellow point.
Which you can see, this is now an extension of the flopper attaching to it. We'll score for that, but it does have that one lit indication of the point scored. And these are still in play if you can get them to attach.
Okay, so one of mine. Let's see. Seems possible, but unlikely.
Do it. That was close.
Give it a shot.
This spinning board thing is really interesting. All right, ready? It's
So
gonna be
1 point for
miraculous.
pink, 1 point for yellow.
Nope.
That's cool. We'll
Gave
pull
you-
that one out.
Gave you my best shot.
Okay. Let's see. So. Oh. Oh, I didn't think about that. I could have knocked the mass.
I'm just gonna try
into-
to connect normally. This is too much chaos. Oof.
2 points for Dan. And this actually looks like a good opportunity for me to score 2 points. Let's see.
Good luck.
Oh!
Perfect. Yeah.
All right.
So to get the score, we'll take these because these didn't get attached. But we're gonna pull them all out one by one,
Except the flopper.
except the
So-
flopper, which just stays.
It's easy to, see them as the same, but
Yeah. And I got 2 points. John got 3. And then to make them into regular game pieces again, double click the regular game pieces, and I'll reintroduce.
and so I had 3, you had 2.
Yeah.
The first player to 11 points wins in Flic Flop.
Yep.
Um,
And you can play it 2 to 3 player. And again, this isn't the table I'd recommend. It's
Yeah.
kind of small.
we say usually kind of like set up, if you can set up like between around 30 inches, 36 inches away
Yeah.
from the flopper on a slick surface. A
Yeah.
glass table's a good surface. This table's actually probably a good texture. I would say the only kind of tables that probably aren't good is ones with like, I don't know, a very grippy,
Yeah.
like you can't play this on carpet.
No.
You need a hardwood floor or something like that. So I don't know. Bar tables are good.
Yeah. So that's, yeah, Flic Flop. It's futuristic shuffleboard. It's fun. It's when you get the right table and when you get those moments where there's one just hanging out and you can just get a double connection. It just really, it's fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, like John did at the end of our game.
Yeah, that felt really good. And also felt good because I was down one
Right.
and came back and scored more. So that's Flic Flop. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's got a really good comeback mechanic. I think that's my favorite part of it. It's, yeah.
So the next game on the list is Honey, which is...
And once again, also with the flopper, to turn them back into flickers,
Just take them by
you
themselves.
can't do it together as a flopper.
Just do it by itself. And there you go.
You just hold it down. Cool.
So the next game is Honey.
I probably don't need to reiterate it too many times, but the long press and this press that Dan is doing sometimes can be a little bit tricky. So when you want to enter game training mode, you hold it down until it goes crazy blue. It's about 3 seconds. Long press is something we use in games. The long press alone is the only one that can enter program mode. So just make sure you release your long press before 2 seconds. You get ample time. It just takes a moment.
Yeah. So this is Honey. It's an idle game. It's actually sort of the way we usually talk about it. And it is
I think of it as a desk toy.
Yeah. It's a simulation of a beehive. And so what you're looking at right now, is 12 flowers. They are green. If I click a flower, it generates some pollen, it gets brighter, 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 and brighter. Now that it's full,
So kind of like cookie clicker. You
I'm
just
gonna long press it, and now it's a worker bee, which is a yellow cell. And worker bees make honey, and the fastest way to do that is to attach them to a flower. And any flower attached to a worker bee will automatically produce honey, will automatically produce pollen, which when full will siphon into here and produce a little bit of honey. And so these 3 flowers are going to feed pollen to this worker bee until he is totally full. And he's flashing yellow. I'm going to long press him. And
Or
now
her.
Actually, canonically, they're all her.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And now that cell became a brood. And broods collect honey to make royal jelly. So I'm going to get some more flowers in play here.
Repeat that one more time to me. So we've got a bunch of flowers.
Yep. They are producing pollen automatically because they're touching a worker. When they're full, they transfer their pollen into the worker, who creates honey. When the worker is full, it transfers its honey into the brood cell, which creates royal jelly, which is this orange.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So I see that it looks like this flower is producing pollen, gathering pollen, twice as fast as this flower.
Right. So the more workers a flower is attached to, the faster it moves. And it's a mathematical relationship. This is moving at the speed of 1, moving at the speed of 1, this is moving at the speed of 2. If I made this into a worker, now this is moving at the speed of 3.
Cool. So 3 worker bees will make a flower produce pollen 3 times as fast.
So while we've been talking, the brood cell has become full. I can long press the brood cell, and now it's a queen, which is purple.
How do we feed the queen?
So we feed the queen just the same way. It's this food chain that's always moving up. So from flowers to workers to broods to queens. So the queen needs a full brood to make just sort of 1 unit of strength. So I'm going to advance a few of these.
What if I put the queen over here?
It needs to be touching a brood or it can't sort of take anything. The only resource it can take is royal jelly. So the relationship always has to be this to this, pollen to honey to royal jelly to queen.
Okay, and so they need to be touching, flower needs to touch a worker needs to be in contact with a brood.
Right.
Oh, cool. Is this the example that's set up in the rule book?
Almost. I need another brood. one from the rulebook's kind of weird, which I like. It's like an interesting
Arrangement.
Let's see if we can get this. Full.
Although this is kind of a good funnel.
Yeah. One in the rulebook is this. That.
And so what Dan's arranging right now is essentially like a bee ecosystem. And I don't know, this game, it's interesting. It started as something that was kind of meditative and like something that like, the goal of it was you should be able to set it up and it can kind of work for you. Oh, got it. Okay.
So now we're producing pollen from these 4 flowers to put honey into these 5 workers, to put royal jelly in these 2 broods to build up this 1 queen. And the way I always talk about it is how fast this produces. So this one, to calculate, this is touching 2, so that's 2 points. This is touching 3, that's 3, that's 5 in total.
3 worker bees to be specific.
3 workers. This is touching 2 workers, that's another 2, now we're at 7. And that's touching 1. So this is producing at a speed of roughly 8 pollen per second.
And what if I turn this into...
You gotta fill it up.
Oh, I gotta fill up my... Okay. So...
It's still 8. You only added 1.
Okay.
Because this is now touching 4. 2, 2, 4 is 8. The problem you end up with here is that this will get full eventually and has no brood to export to.
Got it.
Which it makes some interesting problems. But this isn't a competitive game. It's not a game with a strict goal. The queen, when you fill it up, it will do something. There is a celebration.
Mm-hmm.
But as it says in the rulebook, it's a game where you make adjacencies and you play around with it and you watch the ecosystem produce.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, what's fun about it is like I know this is producing 8 right now. I know that with this many blinks, I can make like 13. I can make it produce 13 pollen per second.
So you can get the queen
full a lot
full
faster,
pretty quick,
like twice as fast. Like right now, we just got this brood full, so we just got that cell of the queen. We're gonna have to wait a while for this brood to fill up, and then a while for that one to fill up again. It might take us another 2-3 minutes to see the final state. See if I can make this any faster. Just off.
I think we're gonna leave this game in suspense for our viewers.
I'll just do this. Yeah, because it's gonna take a little bit. But when you get this game, set it up however you want. You know, we have this example in the book, and give it a couple minutes, and you'll see the celebration.
So that's honey, also known as, it was like codenamed royal jelly.
Yeah, it's gonna be called that. Yeah.
All about feeding the queen. By the way, if you're in the middle of gameplay, so we've actually been playing for, I don't know, maybe an hour.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to pause for a little bit, you can hold down a single piece for 6 seconds, or better yet, I call it a sleeper hold. You just hold it down until it goes to sleep, and they all go into a warm sleep. You can then come back, and to wake them all up, just press a single one, and they all wake up. If it's been longer than about 10 minutes after the warm sleep,
you have to wake them up individually.
You can wake them up individually.
But they'll still be where they were.
Right. In honey, for example, our queen is still... Oh, our queen's about to... This is the moment.
Let's see. Wait, don't wait. Because that one's gonna get full.
Yeah, I know, but then everybody's gonna get to see the...
I mean, I think it's fine.
Okay.
It's cool.
Spoiler alert. Turn away if you don't want to see what the queen celebration is. Also, these are really cool for time lapse. So like seeing honey move fast forward, maybe we'll attach a time lapse of one of them.
So there it goes. It's now full and celebration.
Cool.
And now everyone resets to 0. Everyone's got no resources. It all starts over.
Cool. So that's honey.
Yep.
Yeah.
The next game, as we're sort of getting away from traditional games and moving into just more sort of blinks experiences, is Zen Flow.
Oh, cool. So Zen Flow, I should describe that one. So Zen Flow, well, you can equally describe it. When we were building blinks, there's like when you're using a mouse on a computer, you had to learn single click and double click and drag. And believe it or not, if you don't know this is a really fascinating story. Every Windows computer included 2 games. The first game was, first one we remember is Minesweeper, and the second game was Solitaire.
Yeah.
And so Minesweeper, believe it or not, was built with the intention of teaching you left click versus right click. Left click allowed you to reveal a mine.
Yep.
Right click allowed you to, flag it. Solitaire, you might wonder, what were you learning from Solitaire? Solitaire taught you that you could drag, so click and drag, and those were concepts that nobody had ever used on a computer before. So with Blinks, there's a lot happening here that you've probably never done before. Doesn't take long to learn, but we built Zen Flow with that intention. So in Zen Flow, a single click passes a wave of the next color in
rainbow color, yeah.
System Rainbow.
So it goes from orange to yellow to green and so on. Is there 2 blues in this one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 2 blues in this one. Cyan.
Excuse me. Cool, and we're back to red. So that's single click. Double click does sort of a sparkle through, and it randomly assigns a single color to each of them.
Yep.
So,
but the wave is the same, just the result is random or single click for consistent. So this is what we sort of call like spread mode, and this is just a nice. We actually built this to go out to the developer kits because we needed to have something loaded on the blinks when they got them instead of them just being blank, which would have been sad. And it just kind of grew on us. It became this thing that we would, whenever we didn't have something we were working on, we'd always just install this on a blink because then when you put them together, it made these like cool patterns.
Yeah, and I feel like there's something, it's just like they kind of breathe and just, I don't know, you really just kind of sit in a dark room and really enjoy yourself just with Zen Flow.
And then to teach the third sort of important button press, if you long press one, let go, it changes mode. And so this one is now in, I don't know, we don't really have a name for it, but it's essentially report mode. It tells you the colors of its neighbors, and you can see as they change, it changes. If I put 2 in report mode next to each other, they will report each other as white. So you can see that as I do this, their colors change. And I can easily pull them out of report mode, back to spread mode, and vice versa. And so it's just a meditative kind of space. And it's got these different modes and these different ways of spreading color. And I mean, it goes without saying, scales to any number of blinks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I think when we first got these in the office, we wanted to like test them out. We put like 150 on the table, and this is the game we put. We didn't play a 150 blink game of Whack-A-Mole. We played a 150 blink game of Zen Flow, and we just sort of washed these colors over the desk. I think there's some videos. Is that on Instagram or something?
Probably on the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Oh, go for it. It's like a spiral jetty. Oh yeah, this is very. What symbol is this? It looks like.
Just looks like a lowercase e.
Yeah. For some reason, I'm thinking like Totoro or like somebody's like.
Naruto.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, this is Zen Flow. I mean,
it's just it's a thing that we just find ourselves futzing with a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, that's satisfying. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
we could do this forever.
You could see why we included it. So that's Zen Flow. What's next on our?
So the next one is widgets, which we could just show widgets. We could do the things. I mean, it's sort of.
We should play the game. So this is really cool. I want to share this. So we had widgets on the list for a long time. The idea was Blinks is a game system, but it's also like it's in the space between video games and board games, and a lot of people are going to want to play them while they're playing other board games. And so we had this idea that instead of just releasing games, maybe we release something that can be used as a utility for your other games.
Yep.
And so there are 4 widgets.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a single blink, a single cartridge has these 4 widgets in it. And the first widget is dice roll, which you'll see them all launch into. The second widget...
so this is dice roll, single click, rolls all connected dice. And it'll be clearer in that shot, hopefully, but in real life it's easy to tell how many lights are lit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But to move to the next one, you long press, and all of them move to the next widget. Anything connected, so you can take them apart and just do those 3. And this is the spinner, which should be evident. It chooses a direction and or a rainbow color.
It's like Wheel of Fortune meets Spin the Bottle.
Yeah, and you could use it for a game where you need to choose a starting player or choose a color. You could use it as a pseudo D6, I guess, but it has this nice little visual effect to it. And when it finishes, it flashes white on the color that it has chosen.
Cool.
We're going to long press again to move forward into my favorite, which is coin flip.
Wow.
And that's all it is, just flips coins. From gold to silver. We say that gold is head and silver is tails, but you call it whatever you want. But I love the way it looks, and it just lands and settles in whatever pattern.
Oh, that was cool. Did you see the question mark we just got?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
We'll never see it again.
We never will. That was perfect, though.
Yeah, now it's just other patterns. And then the last widget, I'm actually not going to push all of them into it, because it's not the kind of thing you would do that with. But the widget after coin, I mean, you can, I could do it.
All right.
The widget after coin is the timer, which I think is arguably the most useful, depending on
Maybe
what
on
kind of
its
games
own.
you play.
If
Yeah,
you
on
put
its
a
own.
blink in your pocket.
Yeah, if you just have one widget, oh my god, I chose the right one. That's the widget blink.
That was the widget
If you just have the one widget blink. So this is a 1 to 5 minute timer. In this mode, it tells you how long it's going to be. This is telling me it'll be a 1 minute timer, a 2 minute timer, 3, 4, and you guessed it, 5, and then it'll loop back to 1. To start the timer, I double click, and it will now tick down. And at the end, I'll just leave this over here while we talk about other things. After a minute, this will flash very brightly red.
Cool.
So a lot of games that you might play, games like Pictionary or Boggle, or what other games have timers? A lot of games come with sand timers.
Taboo.
Yeah, I know that I have a bunch of sand timers, and they're all broken. Because eventually, the moisture creeps in, and the sand stops flowing, and you have to start using your phone as a timer, which somehow feels less fun.
Less tabletop.
Yeah, and so instead, be like, oh, how long is the Pictionary timer? It's 3 minutes? Yeah. Take out the blink timer, set it to yellow, get a 3 minute timer. And honestly, this is a lot easier to see when it's over than a sand timer, which you have to stare at. This will be, if I can talk for a whole minute, this should be pretty obvious that it is over.
I was gonna say, it's also a lot quieter than an egg timer, but not a sand timer.
There's the final state. It is loud.
That's
visually.
Yeah.
You just double click it, go back to the beginning, and set it to 4 minutes. And you'll notice the color changes as the timer goes by, but that's not super important. What's important is it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minute timer.
Up to 5 minutes. So cool. So we have these 4 widgets, and as we were getting ready to ship the games and working on the instructions booklet, Dan was like, I feel really uncomfortable shipping just a utility blink.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, I agree. That seems a little bit weird to just, we're selling games and a game system. Let's invent some games for the widgets.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to push these all into dice.
And we're going to play
takeaway dice, which, so that's the thing is, we said at the beginning it's 12 games. Technically, we're shipping 14.
14 games. So
because Widgets is 3 games. Well, it's infinite games, but we've given you 3 games to play.
And so the thing I love about this is like, you know, I said they're dice, it's a spinner, it's coin flips, but the thing that Dan did that I love so much is that the games themselves rely on the properties of the blinks. You wouldn't be able to play this dice game with just regular dice.
Right.
Takeaway dice relies on the fact that blinks attach to each other and cordon some off from each other.
And can be rolled without moving.
Right. They can be rolled without moving.
Which, by the way, I think is one of the
They can all be rolled.
Fun things about this is if you wanted to play like poker dice, like you couldn't play that say on an airplane because you can't roll 5 dice, but you can roll 5 blink dice. You know.
Huh.
You can play a dice game on a plane.
That dice on a plane. That sounds like a movie.
Yeah, not a good one.
It's,
So I gotta refresh myself with takeaway dice. This game that I invented recently.
I played it recently,
Yeah.
and I'm like all about it. Should we play with 2 rerolls?
Each or total?
Each.
Sure.
Okay.
Why not 1?
Why not 1
Yes,
each?
do 1.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fierce.
All right.
Interesting.
So, are you gonna go first?
So to start the game, I can either play the board as is or use my...
We'll say that we're not starting yet.
Okay.
Like, we'll roll the board
Okay.
when we start.
I'll start
That's
out.
no one's roll. Okay.
Sure.
So we're rolling the board. We've put it in this this arrangement, but you can choose other arrangements.
Okay. So just like in Barry and Mortals, these pieces here, they're locked into place because they have blinks on on opposite sides.
So each turn, you take a blink and add it to your collection. So John's gonna take a blink.
I think I'm gonna do it.
Okay. And then I'm gonna take an accessible blink. I'm gonna take this one.
I think that's fine.
I don't really have a strategy going into this.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the scoring while it's happening. So when I took the 5, my score became 5. When I grabbed a second 5, my score became 15. And had I grabbed a 4 and another 4, my score would have been 14.
So maybe it's more useful to say that when you have dice, any duplicates of a value are worth 10. So having 2 5s is having 5, because it's worth what it says, plus 10 because it's a duplicate of that 5.
Cool.
If I had 2 5s and 2 1s, I'd have the 5, the 1, that's 6, and then 2 duplicates, that'd be worth 20.
So if I have a 3, 2, and a 1, my score is
6.
And if I have a 3, and a 1,
Your score is 14.
14.
So if you have
10
a
plus 3 plus 1.
a 6 5 4, your score is 15. But if you have 3 1s, your score is 21.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's in the rules, but I think it's your turn.
I'm just gonna laugh. This moment of the video is like, wait, this is the part where they just say a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
So the goal of the game is to be the highest scorer. So I want to take away dice with the highest points, or dice that will, give me the highest score. So I think I'm gonna use my roll here. Well, it's interesting. I could grab a 6 here. It's not a bad idea, and you can't grab a 6, so you're gonna have to roll. I'm gonna do it. Chance
I'll
it.
roll.
That worked out in my favor.
Did I have to take the 6 to prevent you from getting it?
So we're still tied. You used your roll,
Yeah.
and I have 1 roll. I feel like this is the time to use it. It was not.
Yeah.
Yes, there. I think you have to do the same. I don't.
Wait, let me do the math on this.
Are you figuring out who's gonna win?
Yeah.
Surely I want to do this. And I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the end, I have a 6 that's worth 6. I have 2 5s that's worth 15. 4, a 2, and a 1. So that's 15, 21, 25, 27, 28.
And so 6 plus 15, 21,
25.
25, 28, 30.
Yep.
And so
John wins.
that's another handshake game.
Yeah. And you can play, like, for instance, when we were first doing this, we noticed that arrangement we did was, pretty flexible. This arrangement is quite a bit less flexible. The amount of available things, it's just these two, or the two on each end.
Only the ends are unlocked.
You can play, if you were feeling crazy, like that, and have it only be the end points that are unlockable. And that's a whole other kind of game.
Nice, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's takeaway dice.
That's just really, really sad. You're like, oh, that's the piece I need.
Yeah.
But I guess, no, that's kind of cool, because eventually you'll get to it.
And you can also play with different amounts of rerolls. John and I played a very punishing game where we could only reroll once. You could play a game where you can reroll as many times as you want, where you could reroll 3 times.
I think once felt good. I felt
Yeah.
like a good constraint. I feel like when you can re-roll every turn, it's a little too easy.
So the next game is played with the spinner.
Cool.
And it's in the book as Spinomino. This is, it's technically a solo puzzle game, but there are some suggestions for how to make a competitive 2-player game out of it in the book. This one's going to be hard to, it's easy in real life, might be hard on video.
Okay.
But the idea is that you are connecting blinks face to face on matching colors, so the green face on the green face, and one of the faces must be blinking. When you spin a spinner, the chosen face blinks.
Right.
So in this case, I'm going to connect these 2 green faces because that one's blinking, these 2 orange because that's blinking, these 2 purple because that's blinking, these 2 yellow. And basically you you keep doing this, connecting blinking colors together.
I think. Oh, but that's gonna.
Yeah, and then
are you allowed to place here?
Mm-hmm. You can't. They cannot cluster, which actually is just a consequence of the rule. It's not actually written that they can't cluster. It's just that you'll find it won't work.
Oh, I see. There you go.
And then yellow. Do I have a free yellow? I do. So there.
Okay.
I just connected all 12.
Cool. So we could kind of race to do that, I guess.
Yeah, the 2-player suggestion is that we take turns placing them, and that if you can't place one, you have to spin them until you can, and that the winner is the one who spins the fewest times. It's like golf.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Do you want to try one of those real quickly?
Sure, I've never done it that way. So we'll spin them all, get them all reset, and then we'll say this is the starting piece, and this is the field of pieces, and
All
go ahead.
I think this
one's in play.
This game was is like a crowd favorite just for the rainbow that's so pretty. Yeah. From that camera, it's like just a white field.
I'm not so sure what it looks like on this camera.
Are we still recording?
I don't know. You know what? Now let's see. I thought we were. I checked before. It might have booted us out at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, let's see. Is it recording again?
No.
Oh.
It's out of space.
Ah.
Yeah,
Okay. Let's see. So, my first move is to attach. Oh, wow! Being strategic in this is terrifying.
That's in play. These are not in play. You
I need to put. Okay, sorry. Oh, interesting. Do I want to make you? I want to make you have to roll.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And theoretically, we would want these together so that you can roll them all together.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna choose this just because the possibilities are so many at the moment. Oh, but I guess, could I put a flashing facing a flashing?
You can.
Okay, so I should have found a flashing if I wanted you to roll.
No, because I could have found a flashing.
Oh, that's a
there,
good
yeah.
point. I see. You're right. Okay, so I can't go with yellow, so any of these, orange, red, or purple. So I could take this one. Do that. So in essence, you need, okay, a lot of the colors are out and accessible.
Also, this was not a super diverse spin. Like, there's a lot of repeats in here.
Okay.
None of those are flickering.
Let's see. Green, I can attach here. Okay. Let's see. If I make yellow. Okay. Oh, that might try. I feel like.
I think that's it. I think I have to roll now. Yeah, there's no accessible greens. All right.
Oh.
Well, no, I can't make you lose. So that's it.
Cool.
So I rolled once. I
I'm
lost.
0.
Yep.
Cool. So that's Spinomino.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see.
And then we'll push through to the last game, which I actually find probably the most interesting, which is Flip Bet. And that also is nice because it'll probably play pretty well to that game.
Oh yeah. It's a good strong finish. I feel like Spinomino, you probably couldn't see what was going on up there. That was fun. I'm more of a takeaway dice person, but you might convince me
I
to
like
flip
this
bet.
one. So I'll be silver, you be gold. You start a game of Flip Bet. It's 2 players. You're assigned a color, so I'll be silver, he'll be gold. And on each turn, before we flip them, John is going to guess how many gold are going to appear, and I'm going to guess how many silver are going to appear. So I am going to guess 4. Of the 12 we're rolling, I think at least 4, or I think 4 will be silver.
And I want to guess 2, but I want to guess, let's see, you get it if you are...
So you get the points if you are, if you guess 4 and there are 4 or fewer, or 4 or more, you get it.
4 or more?
4 or more. So if I guess 4, I get 4 points if there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right?
Okay.
But if I guess 4 and there are 3, I get nothing. And if I guess 4 and there are 4, then I wipe out whatever points you would have gotten that turn, even if you would have gotten points.
Got it. Okay.
So 4 is a safe bet. It's less than half the dice in play, less than half the coins in play.
Right.
I likely will get 4. But if you want to be risky, you could say something like 7.
I could... Right. Right. Okay. So maybe in this case, you say 4. I'm feeling risky and I'll say 5.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
So there were 5 silver and 7 gold. I get my 4 points because I came in under, and you get your 5 points because you came in under. But now you are in the lead.
1 point.
We are playing until we have an agreed upon number of points, which we recommend is twice the number of blinks in play.
So 24.
So 24 points. So I have 4, you have
5.
5. All right. I'm going to go big, I guess. I'm going to say 5.
Okay. I'm going to go 3.
You'll probably get it. Yep, so I got my 5, and you got your 3.
Uh-huh.
So I'm now at 9, and you're at
8.
Okay. I'm going to say 5 again.
5 does feel pretty...
No, I'm going to say 6.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not?
Alright. I'm at 8, you're at 9?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go... I feel like this is not the time to do it, but I'm going to go for it. 7.
Okay.
Catching up.
6, come on. I get my 6 points and you get nothing.
Okay.
So I'm now at 15.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to being safe. I'm gonna say 4.
Yeah, that seems smart. I feel like I need to play big now because I'm in the.
Or you need to get it exactly right, so I get no points.
That's also a good point. So let's go 5.
Okay, so I'm saying 4. You're saying 5.
Ah, really?
I get my 4. You get your 5. I'm now at 19. You're at 13.
All right.
I need to get 24.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 5.
Do you have to stick it?
No.
Okay. I'm at 13.
Yeah.
11.
No, you can't. I mean, you can say that, but you're not gonna get it.
Well, I mean, hey, that's a Hail Mary play right there.
A better
Let's
Hail
see.
Mary play is.
Wait, you're at, you guessed 5?
Yeah.
So I want to, let's see. I probably want to pick 6. 6, yeah. 6 is my highest probability bet.
Yes. Yes.
So let's do that, and it would stop you from
Yes.
getting anything.
See what happens. But if you get a 7, you're gonna be real upset.
It's true.
Whoa. I mean, I still get my 5 points, but whoa.
That's,
So I don't know if it comes through on there, but we just rolled 9 silvers and 3 gold. So I got my 5. I'm at 24. I'm done. And you got nothing because you guessed too high.
yeah. That's. I'm not so much of I'm a horrible
Okay,
gambler, so.
But I like this one. I think it's the guessing, the sort of deciding when to be risky and when to be conservative is nice.
That's cool. I got risky too early, I think. Had I really been playing to win, I think I would have probably played it safe
Got 3s and
until I was
4s.
within reach to then,
Yeah.
you know, like, I'd rather be at like, I don't know, 17 and then go for 7 to win it. That just feels more right to me. All right.
So that's the last game in the book.
Cool.
That's everything.
So awesome. On the back page, I think of, let's see, I'll grab this, of the core set. Let's see. Oh, it's not in this print. But on the back page, there's some links for support.move38.com. So if you want to any help with how to use your blinks, maybe you're seeing them flashing away you haven't seen, that's the spot to contact us. The forum is for developers mostly, but you can post there too. And community.move38.com takes you right to our Facebook and Instagram, where we're also really responsive. So yeah, once again, this was a sneak peek on all 12 games, 12 blinks from the core set and the expansion. And when you want to take them to go, you simply hold the blink down. It's a sleeper hold, and it sends all the other blinks to sleep. And then you can grab your sushi roll case. Let's see. And I just stack them up like so. Put them in the sushi roll and roll it up. And so there's a little blinks label on there. And yeah, if you had any questions about the games we just showed, we're gonna shoot some more formal documentation of each of those games and gameplay footage, but wanted to at least give you something to check out, have to reference right from the start, and yeah, looking forward to hearing your thoughts. I think that's it.
Yep.
You can get your blinks on getblinks.com, and we're Move38 at move38.com. So have fun. Have a good game night.